We've been learning from Brian, and I want to bring him in now. Brian Yennis live at the scene. Brian, before we get started, I have a quick question for you just to further what I'm telling viewers right now. So reports are that the camera or cameras in the area of where this happened were not activated the way that they should have been, and that a lot of what we're seeing are from cameras a little bit farther away, maybe up higher, and people's cell phones.
Yeah, Harris, I can't verify any of that information about the cameras. I know that Eric Sean was reporting on reports of that here in local reports about the cameras maybe not operating in subway stations. Frankly, that would not be quite surprising. This is the nation's largest subway system, and some of those cameras would be inoperable. That would not shock me. But let me just reset the scene here for a second. We are on 4th Avenue and 35th Street. This is where emergency personnel have set up here. The train station, the subway station, is directly behind us. And what we know is just a few moments ago, we all received an alert on our phones, an emergency alert that between 20th and 40th Street here in Brooklyn on 5th Avenue, that is the adjacent avenue to us, that they have shut that area down. They say that the area has been stabilized. What's interesting about that is that that is the almost exactly the length of the nearby park, and that is here in Greenwood Heights. There's the Greenwood Park that is right near that 5th Avenue entrance there between 20th and 40th. That is pretty much the exact length of the park, and that's important because we know that the suspect that has been described as a 5'5" black man, about 170 to 180 pounds, is still on the loose. So, is there a search in this area? That appears to be the case, and obviously they have stabilized the area here in Brooklyn. We don't know in what direction he went. The police also further say that this man was wearing a gas mask, had some sort of book bag, and was wearing a construction vest. It was not an MTA uniform, but it was a construction vest that was orange. So that is all that we've been told about this particular suspect. We know that a press conference is going to happen at any moment, but we also know that this all started essentially, we were told, at 25th Street, which is one station below here, and then the train pulled up into 36th Street, and that is when you saw people coming out of the train with smoke billowing from inside that train car, people with injuries. And we know that at least 13 people are injured, at least 5 people shot. We know 8 people are in stable condition. So that is the update from what we understand from the victim's perspective. But in terms of where this particular perp went, we have no idea. All we know is that there is currently a lockdown. There was a witness who just spoke to Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino on America's Newsroom, and this is how he described the situation underground at about 8:30 this morning when this happened.
Brian, don't move.
And then I saw the individual from my video who was laid out in the middle of a platform, bleeding out all over the place. People started rushing towards us, running towards us. One guy was screaming that it's not worth your life to get videos and stuff.
Yeah, so people were running for their lives in the chaos underground right now, Harris, but we expect to get more information from the police. This initially started, Harris, with a phone call to the FDNY at about 8:27 for smoke that was coming out from the train station, and that is when they arrived and they realized that this was much more than just smoke. They saw people, and there's been video of people who were shot in the leg, it appeared, blood on the platform, and people that were injured. So we'll give you an update on those injuries as right now, all we know is that the area between 20th and 40th Street here in Brooklyn is now considered a stabilized area and has been blocked off as the search for this suspect continues and as schools here in the area remain in lockdown. Harris?
Brian, such great information, and I want to just go over a couple of things with you. So first of all, we were waiting to see when they might set up a command center and what a news conference timing might be like. What can you tell us on that front?
Yeah, so they have, the reason why you see us kind of in this press mess right now is because they moved all the press over here, and you can see that they've set up a couple of podiums, which is a telltale sign that they are about to start a press conference. Hopefully at any moment we'll be able to set up, I would imagine, hopefully within the hour.
Perfect, yeah. It's been 2.5 hours since this incident, and you've had people transplaced and transported and all of that. A lot of questions coming in, as you might imagine. Fear from people who just don't have all of the answers. So the timing of that would be expeditious, we would hope. Brian, you brought up a couple of details, and I want to really give a good point to them, because I had said MTA very early on. This person, the suspect, looked like he might have worked in construction or maintenance or something down there, and those reports early on were perhaps MTA. What we know is that it's much more generic, and you gave us more details about what the suspect might be wearing, might look like right now. Has there been any indication that they caught him on camera? What is being said about how they're chasing that? And we may have to wait for the news conference to get that, but I thought I'd press in because you had some fresh and very good details.
Yeah, we don't know actually at all in terms of the camera situation. That's what we're going to hopefully hear about right away. In terms of where this investigation is standing right now as to where this suspect may be. We know that subway traffic has stopped. We know about the stabilized area. You can see that the first responders are in a pretty calm posture up here, kind of just waiting at this moment. But in terms of what we can tell you about this suspect, we only know. Yeah, or where it came from, right. And there's even some, we've been told that it started at 25th Street and moved towards 36. There was one witness who said it was actually a train that was moving towards Manhattan. Remember, there's the north and southbound trains. So that's the kind of information we hope to get soon. But again, we have helicopters in the air. One at least probably, there's press and NYPD that are in the air in this area. There's a cornered off area of Brooklyn. We know the subway trains are at a standstill, and we know that there is a suspect on the loose. So that is currently the situation we have right now.
All right. And Brian, one more thing. I have a new list of all the nearby businesses, and the closest that we're seeing, there's a New York Mini Mart and Deli, a Sunset Park High School. You've got a Brooklyn church there. Royal Auto Glass. I mean, that area is rich in some residential high-rises where people live, but also just a ton of small businesses near there. Potential witnesses, you would say. What is the activity level along the streets for those businesses? Have they also been closed?
Yeah, those businesses, there's nobody going in and out of those businesses directly at the entrance of the 36th Street station. This is where it really did happen. This is where first responders and people were brought out when that train pulled in to the 36th Street station, and that is why you see this setup over here. But all the way down the block on 4th Avenue, with all you see are first responder vehicles and an entire 4th Avenue just blocked off. There are pedestrians who are standing by and watching, but yeah, there's nobody going in and out of these businesses. This is a very residential area here in Brooklyn, and of course there are schools nearby, and again, as I mentioned, that park that's nearby as well, which is interesting just because of what I told you about the emergency alert that was sent out that ran up and down 5th Avenue, which is right in front of the entrance to that park.
Now, one of the other things that they have just real nearby is the fire department engine 228. You see a fire engine pulling out of there, but it just made me think about it. I've been in this area most recently. Okay, so we know that we are standing by.
Hey,
Brian, you've told us there's a command center. Yes.
Presser at 11:30.
Perfect.
Just so you know, okay?
All right. I was just going to say, I figured you'd be right there for it. We'll come back to you as that happens, Brian. Thank you so very much for the update.
Thank you, Harris.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Dark Skin Naisha on the rise.